This is still Channel One Television from the court. So we're taking you to the head office of the Electoral Commission, where the chairperson is currently addressing members of the various political parties. Let's cross over to the EC.
Per Article 54 of the 1992 Constitution and Regulation 13.4 of CI 127, the Commission wrote to the Ghana Freedom Party and provided them a period of 10 days within which to file a new candidate. Article 50 of the 4 of the 1992 Constitution reads, where at the close of nominations, but before the election, one of the candidates dies, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nomination. In that respect, the Commission wrote to the Ghana Freedom Party and asked them to present a new candidate within 10 days. In fulfillment of that request, the Ghana Freedom Party presented Mr. IPAC, who was before then the vice presidential candidate to Madam Ekwe-Adonko. The party presented him as the presidential candidate of the Ghana Freedom Party. He and the party went on to submit their nomination forms on the 5th of November, and our technical teams went to work immediately reviewing the nomination forms. At the end of the process, they detected a number of errors and some illegalities with the form. The candidate's attention was drawn to these errors, and the party was provided an opportunity to correct them. They did that. In the view of the Commission, it was not in our bosom to provide the political party the opportunity to correct some of the illegalities that we found on the form. In that respect, the party did not draw their attention to it because the Commission does not feel that it is in its bosom to allow any political party to correct illegalities with the form. The Commission, therefore, as at yesterday, wrote to the party and to the candidate disqualifying him from contesting the 2024 presidential election. This morning, we are here to inform you of the Commission's decision to maintain the presidential ballot as it is. As you may be aware, and I believe all of you have representatives in the printing houses, we are almost 90% complete with the printing of presidential ballots. And you are also aware that following the passing of Madam Ekwe-Adonko, we requested the printing houses to cease printing until the law had taken its course. Now that the presidential candidate or the nominee has been disqualified, the Commission would like to inform you that the printing would proceed on the current ballot as is, in the interest of time and to save this country millions of cedis. And so our task here this morning is very simple. We are not here to change positions. We are not here to reballot. We are simply here to inform you that the Commission intends to notify our printing houses to proceed with the presidential ballot as is. It will proceed with the ballot that bears the name and the image of the name of the Ghana Freedom Party, their symbol, and the image of Madam Ekwe-Adonko. And we believe that a lot of discussions and advertisements will go out to prevent the citizenry from voting for her. So this is our mission here this morning. It is a simple one, as I said. We'd like to thank you for your time and your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Please, we will allow some few questions.
If they are.
So, please, if you want to ask a question, let me see my hand so that I will select the first part. And I think that is enough. Other than that, I will do one.
The first five.
So So 1, 2, 2.
2. It's okay. Everything is clear.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Chair.
They've signed it. I think it's okay.
You can give it to them.
If I heard you right, my name is Jerry Owusu.
No question.
I'm the General Secretary of the Liberal Party of Ghana. Madam, I just want to know if Madam Donko image, the party logo, and the space for the town printing is still going to be on the ballot like that. What happens if people go out and still vote for her to win the election? I know very well that the CI says her ballot will be annulled.
Exactly.
But if she wins, that means nobody will win the election, and Ghana will still suffer.
If you are not, you know we can't get it, you cannot win.
No, people, it's percentage.
It will not be counted, so it will not be.
So are you saying that the person who comes out?
No, the chair was that. No, you
just interrupted me. I just want to understand very well, because if her vote, if she wins by number and it's annulled, it means the second person's vote, or the second person that we are going to accept as a winner, definitely the person's vote will not get up to that 50% plus. And I want to understand it very well. Now,
if I ask question and I will tell you two. No. I gave them and I told you two.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. The decision taken as it pleases the Commission. The LDs has no issues with it. We have no issues at all. We go by that. I'll take the opportunity to request for our drive today, because we've taken notice of the release of the salaries that we are given of the register, and so that was the basis. So you don't need the platform for us to now take register, and then we will take advantage to also request for, because there was a statement under the summary that talks about the absentee voters. Some polling stations were now cancelled, they are no more in existence, and that means the difference of the 884. So we want to know whose polling station, so that we will amend our records accordingly. As we speak now, we don't know whose polling station, which have been cancelled and all that. So if you could graciously give us those polling stations which have been cancelled and then they no more exist currently, so that we can amend our records as we move towards that. Yes, then the issues about this without biometrics. Yes, the without biometrics, that's the missing one. We've seen that the addition, fair enough, we'll study it, very negligible. So we'll study that one again, but this is clearly what we're looking for. And then we're not antagonizing you for that. We just needed this information so that all of us will be on the same page. And we are grateful for that. Very, very grateful to the EC for providing this information. Added this additional information that we will further meet the original breakdown. Of course, this is just additional reports. We will need the original breakdowns of this decision.
why do you want to leave it around? Go do it yourself.
No.
give them.
Yeah,
Give
please
it
go
to
ahead. Ajo.
It's not possible. Or the voice will be
Everybody is dead, so you will not win.
I am Monica, General Secretary of the All People's Congress. Madam Chair, I stand to be corrected, but if I heard you right, in your submission, it means that there are two things that were involved that called for the disqualification of the nominee of the presidential candidate of GFP. One, it was about some illegalities. And then two, some other things that they didn't do right that resulted to that. But in the first place, if as a commission, you are very much aware that you write to a political party to do some corrections. And that aside, even if they do the corrections and do them very well, they will still be disqualified. Why would the commission still go ahead and then ask them to do the correction? After the correction is done, then they come back and you are fully aware that as a result of the illegalities, they will still be disqualified. That's something that we do not understand. And that notwithstanding, I also heard the commission during the disqualification of the peers, you made mention of illegalities. And the second time again, we are hearing of illegalities with regards to this current disqualification. What is the Electoral Commission doing with regards to issues of illegalities that comes from the quarters of political parties? Do you just allow political parties come with issues of illegalities and nothing is done about it? We just come and you tell us that there are some illegalities that has also resulted into the disqualification of presidential candidates. What is done about it? Or we can equally come with illegalities and then those conflicts. Is that what is happening? I just want to know.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I've made some observation over a couple of meetings. I want to find out who is the main staker of this meeting. Because we are making crucial decisions and we need to ensure that these are well captured so that tomorrow, we'll be able to refer to them as it is. And a couple of times we've had meetings where we've read no minutes. This is an emergency meeting, so I could excuse that. But I think it would be good to know those things. And I'll be happy to know whether somebody took note. And I think the relevant portions of which your decision is based on in relation to law should be clearly spelled out, so that, and I'm happy that, I'm sure for that reason why you have the commissions where here, so that tomorrow, if somebody is making any assertions, they will have no doubt in their mind what the law's position is and what your decision was based on in relation to law. Thank you.
Let's move on to the constant issues.
To answer this question, I believe that the whole country and every interested Ghanaian living anywhere, those that are the pass and it will be very unlikely that people will vote for her to win the election. In any case, if one or two mischief makers vote for her, those votes will be about. They will not be counted correctly. And I can assure you that the whole world and all the voting population are aware that Madam Ekwe-Adonko has passed away. So it is very unlikely that people would vote for her. And if there are any such votes, they will be annulled. I know that Mr. Tanko had also acknowledged receipt of the summaries, and he indicated that he will be picking his hard drive with the register today. And I think he's acknowledged with gratitude the summaries, because I'd like to mention again that the Commission is under no obligation to provide breakdowns or summaries of the register. What we are required by law to do is to provide the parties with a certified register, and we have done that in fulfillment of the law. Yes, because we are all working together, you accommodate the views and the requests of political parties, and therefore it is not a challenge to do so, but it's important to place on record, as Citizen Atu said, is record keeping, that we are not required by law to provide summaries or breakdown of the register to the political parties. So I think that what we've done, we've gone over and above what we are required to do. And so I think that settles it. I think that Mordecai talked about the illegalities. I don't think it is our place to discuss what the illegalities are, whether it is with the GFP candidates nomination or with the PNC. We're all aware that the PNC is in court. It is not our place to discuss illegalities. Those illegalities will be referred to the security agencies to deal with. But we do not believe that it is our place to, to discuss illegalities. I think Citizen Atu wanted to know the law on which we are standing. If you look at Regulation 7.2b of CI 127, it requires that the nomination form of each candidate in an election for president shall be signed. I was just mentioning that Regulation 7.2b of CI 127 states as follows: the nomination form for each candidate in an election for president shall be signed by no less than 2 persons who are registered voters in the area of authority of each district assembly. And therefore, candidates must ensure that the supporters that they provide to fill their nomination forms for each district are indeed registered voters of that particular district. You cannot pick and choose as you please, or find persons in one district and document them as your supporters in another district. That in itself is an illegality, because the law is very, very specific that for each district you must have 2 persons. And so if you are a presidential candidate, the onus is on you to ensure that the candidates or the supporters that you present are indeed of that district, and from that district that they support your candidature. And so this is what we used to disqualify him, because on the face of his form, it was detected that some candidates, some supporters had been brought from other districts to support him in districts where they were not registered voters.
Madam, I think my question was more on the local case. It was based on you taking a decision to continue to let the status quo remain. And there are provisions in the law. And I wanted that to be out there so that at least the general public will understand, based on what are you carrying on with the status quo remaining as the printed ballots have already been done. Because I know that...
Okay, I understand. I think that it's important that our laws are not, do not really take into account, such occurrences. However, the law refers to a situation where a candidate withdraws after, nomination, after the printing of ballots and so on. The law provides an opportunity for for the commission to continue with the ballot paper as it is. However, it is not clear on death and situations like this. And even if you look in the law, CI 127 and the Constitution, it doesn't expressly focus on a presidential candidate. If you read the provision 54, you go down, you realize that it's mainly talking about a parliamentary candidate. So, of course, we've had to stretch the law, but there's no clear provision that says that when a candidate dies and the candidate is on the ballot, you should use the ballot as it is. However, if you look at CI 127, Regulation 10(5), it says, where a duly nominated candidate whose name appears on the nomination list displayed at the constituency center withdraws as a candidate after ballot papers and related election notices have been printed, the ballot papers and related notices may continue to include the name and other particulars of the candidate. So basically what we are saying is that we don't have very clear provisions. I believe that after the elections we can all, based on what has happened, this experience, we can re-look at the CI 127 and fine-tune it to take care of such situations. So we'd like to thank you very, very much. Evans, we have to go. We have a meeting. We'd like to thank you very much. At this juncture, we'd like to crave your indulgence to bring the meeting to an end. The commission has a meeting going, a planning meeting of all its regional directorates. So we'd like to crave your kind indulgence to bring the meeting to an end. Thank you very much. Doc. Take over.
Right, that was Chairperson for Ghana's Electoral Commission, Madam Jean Mensah, addressing political party representatives at an emergency inter-party advisory committee meeting. Clearly, the agenda for the day had to do with the Ghana Freedom Party, who unfortunately lost its founder, leader, and flag bearer, Madam Ekwia Donko. The party subsequently presented Apia Kubi as its flag bearer, and today we are being told by the Electoral Commission that due to some illegalities in the nomination forms, the GFP and its flag bearer have been disqualified from contesting the 2024 general elections. The EC, however, is going ahead with the printing of the ballot papers as it is in its current form, which has the picture of Madam Ekwia Donko, who has passed on the ballot paper. Now, Fred, I don't know. The EC, I mean, explains that there wouldn't be any challenges because any vote, should there be, that will go to the Ghana Freedom Party will not be counted.
Yes.
Possible challenges that may arise from this.
And I think there are some challenges because you see, the moment you leave Ekwia Donko there, we've heard a number of people who have expressed anger with the two political parties. The NDC and the MPP. I admit and I hear the Electoral Commissioner saying that everybody in this country knows that the Madam Ekwia Donko has passed away.
Right.
So she doesn't believe that any well-meaning person would go ahead to go and vote for Ekwia Donko on the day of elections. But you see, there are also people who would use that vote as a protest vote.
Yeah.
Would go vote for her as a protest vote. So, in the instance where majority of the people go out to go and vote for Madam Ekwia Donko, who's passed away, as a protest vote, what happens to our electoral system? What happens to our election? Yes, we are told that those votes
will not be
deemed as void.
Those get deemed as null and void, then they are not counted.
They are not counted.
But
so
the tendency of that tipping even the election into a second round.
Not even into a second round, into where majority of the people have voted. Where majority of the people have voted for a candidate who has passed away. We are told we have about 18.7 million people on the voters' roll, valid voters on the voters' roll. And out of this 18 million, this is just an assumption. Out of the 18 million, you have about 15 million voting for the woman. What happens? You understand?
Yeah.
I try to understand them by saying that, look, we don't have enough time. We need to save money for this country and everything. But you see, it's also to be able to get out of the controversy of balloting and non-balloting. What is very...
It looks as though Fred Duho is engaging at the Electoral Commission. This must be a representative of the Ghana Freedom Party. Briefly, let's hear what he's been saying.
Just arrange and do the Congress after the burial and the final funeral rites when you get to the grave. So the 2027 is our decision now.
Okay. Your full name and
Richard Boche, that is the national organizer of GFP.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. So that is Richard Boche. He described himself as the organizer of the GFP, which has since been disqualified by the Electoral Commission. And according to him, they are happy because this is the time to honor the memory of Madame Equiadonko, who was the former flag bearer of the GFP. And so generally the meeting that was held by the Electoral Commission has basically been about the fact that the candidate that was used to replace Equiadonko has been disqualified, but the ballot paper is going to be maintained in that order, and any vote cast for her would be annulled, basically to make way for the other candidates on the ballot paper to be declared in whose favor the election may turn. Now, okay, let me go and do this thing over there, then we
Very much. Fred Duho from the Electoral Commission. Still have Fred Jabano in the studio with me. So from one Fred to the other Fred. So this is the position of the EC.
Of the Electoral Commission.
Yes, and you notice that this is what the NDC actually had wanted.
Yes.
Because they were fighting against the possibility of having to just shift
the numbers.
Taking Madame Equiadonko off the ballot and then shifting the rest up. They were against that.
Yes.
Because then what that would mean is that they will have to move from their already advertised 8th position
to another, maybe
maybe seventh
or
position.
They were calling for a reballot.
A reballot.
Yes.
Yes.
So as I was saying, the EC, in its wisdom, to avoid all these controversies, decides that let's just keep it as it is, so that we have peace ahead of the election.
Very well. Let's go back to Electoral Commission. Fred Duho is engaging Evans Nimako, Director of Elections for the MPP.
In Parliament. And the judiciary has given a position on it. So for me, we should allow the law to rule, not individuals. I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you very much. Sure.
Fred Duho there speaking with Evans Nimako of the MPP, I'm sure. I mean, we caught on late, but it looks like it was a comment stemming from the earlier case in court, the Supreme Court today. The Deputy Director of Elections, Dr. Rashid Atanko Computer, is speaking now. Let's hear him.
The EC didn't ask us to go and collate. I don't respond. I won't respond. I won't respond to them and then glorify such rubbish. That is not our work. We are a political party. Those who are supposed to do the job is the EC. Ghanaians don't pay their taxes to us as a party. They pay taxes to the EC to do this job. This is administrative. So we requested for it. I was grateful to thank them for bringing that one, but it fell short of the original summaries. And then that's why we asked for. And clearly they know it. That's their job. That's why they were silent about it. It doesn't take the mouth of a political party, which will not even make a 0.001% in an election to ask me that. They don't need to have that. We will follow it through. We've taken notice of it, especially the issue about the polling stations, which do not exist again. I mean, this is the first time they are announcing it, and I'm sure you, the media, have taken notice of that. This is the first time. I mean, so if we hadn't asked, all these things wouldn't have been up. We would have been going to elections knowing certain polling stations exist, only to go there and then voting will not take place in those areas, and figures have been aligned to other places. So you see the benefit of NDC insistence on doing that, making sure that the right things are done. And I think Ghanaians should be thankful to NDC for our eagle eyes, which has brought us this far. And hopefully we make sure that they bring us the final data, which is the regional breakdown.
All right, Deputy Director of IT and Elections for the NDC, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, speaking there. First, as we were saying, a welcome decision for the NDC.
For the NDC,
and of course for the MP, because
the
they still remain.
I mean, for all the parties. For all the parties, I mean,
right?
they have invested monies in running a campaign.
Yeah.
They have gone around the country indicating to the people of Ghana that this is their position on the ballot, paper.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, one of the candidates passes away. Going to go through all that change, money invested, it's quite difficult. So, I mean, all the parties would welcome this decision. The only challenge for us is that, what if?
Yeah.
We are just asking the question of what if, but I'm sure the parties are okay with it. I'm sure the EC itself is okay with it. It's always talked about fairness. We have some few weeks to the election. And you see, as it says, ballot papers had already been printed. It was put on hold. If you had to take away all those ballot papers, even the controversy of having to dispose of those ballot papers would arise.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a good decision the EC has taken. We just hope that people would take it as it is and go on the day of elections, go and vote for who they want to vote for, and avoid voting for Madam Ekwe-Adonko.
Very well, and hopefully no one decides to test the law on this matter.
Hopefully,
so
yes,
hopefully no one decides to test the law
before we go,
on this matter.
The EC has also released the total number of valid voters. So it released the statistics. So as of December 7, 2024, we are going to have 18,774,159 voters on the roll.
Okay.
So these are the number of people who are seen as valid voters to partake in this year's election.
And hopefully a good number of them turn up to cast their ballot, so that we reduce the voter apathy. And of course, let's intensify the education so that the spoiled ballots,
Yes.
that one too.
Madam Ekwe-Adonko is just there.
It's just there.
She's passed away. Don't go and vote for Madam Ekwe-Adonko.
All right, thank you so much, Fred Jabano. Earlier you heard from Fred Duo, live from the Electoral Commission's headquarters. Much earlier, we heard from Jude Mensah Duncan from the premises of the Supreme Court of Ghana, which has given a 5-2 ruling in favor of Alexander Afenyo-Markin's application. My name is Nana Tufo Boate. Many thanks for your time. Trust that we'll be bringing you updates in our subsequent bulletins. This is your Election Bureau. Stay with us for comprehensive coverage of the 2024 general elections and election-related activities. The hashtags are Ghana Polls 2024, hashtag CTVerify, hashtag Election Bureau. Thank you for your time. Keep watching Channel One TV.